So almost everyone I can think of pays to live where they live. Whether you rent or own, you are paying every month to live where you live. And it might not seem as obvious as if you rent a storage unit that you are paying to store your stuff in your house, but you really are. Your stuff basically is taking up valuable real estate that you are paying for, just like it would in a storage unit. So for example, if you have a storage unit that costs you $300 a month and you have that for a year, you better have stuff in there that is worth more than $3,600 because that's what you're paying each year you store it. And if you store it for more than a year, that cost goes up. So if you could replace it more easily and cheaper than having it in storage, it's pretty easy to figure out that you need to get rid of that storage unit. That's some of you, I know. But your house is the same way. You pay for the size of house that you have, and your stuff takes up some of that valuable real estate. So if you have a storage unit, or just if you're looking at your home, I want you to ask yourself, am I just keeping a whole bunch of stuff that I might need just in case? And how much is it costing me to save all of that stuff versus how much of that stuff am I actually going to use? So let's think about a storage unit that's $300 a month. You're spending $3,600 a year. Maybe you pull out a few things throughout the year and you use $900 in stuff that you saved in there. And you're like, good thing I saved that stuff. But that's all you used from it in a year. You are losing money. You are losing money, my friends. That is what we call bad math. Don't do that to yourself. You need to get rid of stuff. You can rebuy it if you have to. And I'm a huge environmentalist, you guys. I'm not saying just go and get rid of everything and then rebuy it all. What I'm saying is you probably won't need to rebuy most of it. So your home is the same. The real estate that things in your house are taking up has a cost associated with it. And it's not just a financial cost, it's also the cleaning, moving around, storing, managing things. And sometimes for people like me, brains like mine, the mental load of knowing that that thing is there, there's a cost associated with it. So I want you to think about whether or not these costs are worth the stuff that you're keeping. Think of it as charging your stuff rent for the space that it takes up, just like a storage unit. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe below if you're not already subscribed. If you are, thank you so much. I'm trying to get monetized on YouTube. I would very much like to have this be part of my little business of home organizing and decluttering and YouTube. So help me out. Go ahead and watch more videos, share my videos, hit like and subscribe below. And thank you so much for being here. It seems like when you get to a point in life where you are so busy that you just don't have time to manage all of your stuff. For me, that was having babies. That was the first time that the house felt really out of control. You start to ruthlessly prioritize what you actually want to spend your time on so that you can spend time on the things that matter. So please ask yourself, how much time in any given day or week do you want to spend moving stuff, putting stuff away, tidying things? I'd like to think of it as moving stuff from point A to point B. Yes, a tidy home looks and feels good, and I am encouraging that, but just moving things around by putting them away constantly and then they're constantly getting gotten back out, does that feel like a good use of your time? Of course, there's going to be some of it, but how much time are you spending on it now versus how much time do you think you should reasonably be spending on it in a given day or a given week? If you're not at that point, how much stuff do you need to get rid of to get yourself down to that point? Does it currently feel like the right amount of time that you're spending on that? Or would you rather have more time for other things in your life? That's what motivated me. That's what got me going on my decluttering journey, was that I felt like I was just spending too much time managing stuff and putting things away. The way my brain works, I'm always very aware of the stuff in our house. Apparently, this is more natural for women's brains than men. There's actual research on this. But in general, I have always kept a sort of inventory in my brain of what stuff we have in our house. And I remember way back in high school, even my room was actually very messy, but I knew where everything was and I knew exactly what I had in there. And so it's just partly how I'm built and how my brain works. You may or may not be like this, but for me, that means that the inventory in my house, all of the stuff in my house, weighs on me a little bit because I'm aware of all of it all of the time. It can also be a blessing because it means that I'm very good at finding things. I almost never lose things, and I can help other people find their things, even if it's something very strange. Be like, oh, where's my Leatherman? Oh, I saw it on the window ledge in the downstairs bathroom 3 days ago. I bet it's still there. Happens all the time. That's just how my brain works. But it also means that I have learned that I just can't have so much stuff in our house So the downside of having a brain like that is that I'm abundantly aware of all of the things in our house. And if a lot of things are out of place, it feels very chaotic and unmanageable to me, and I get stressed and overwhelmed. And so I know that I need more or less for things to be put away as much as possible. I know it sounds like I live in this perfect, like, catalog house. I really don't. Like, we have two kids, we have a dog. My husband's always doing projects on the house. Our house is not always tidy, but we also don't have every surface piled with stuff. And when there are things out, hopefully it's a current project. So even for people whose brains don't work like that, it can feel very good to live in a neat and tidy home because you know where your things are and you can find them. So people who are naturally disorganized are going to do a lot better if they just have fewer things, and if the things that they have are put away and they know where they are. So that's the motivation piece. I always like to start with the motivation because until you are in the right mindset to declutter, it is really hard to declutter. I have worked with people who really have trouble getting in the right mindset, and they won't get rid of anything until they can wrap their head around some of these decluttering philosophies.